Sadaşivasamaram Shankaracharya Madhyam Asmadacharya Vande Guru Paramparam. Okay, any questions, clarifications before we go ahead? Being the faith that last time we talked about the role of Anumanam, etc. Okay, alright. Then he says, continuing that idea, Na dharma jignasayam iva shrutyadeya eva pramanam brahma jignasayam. किंतु श्रुत्यादयः अनुभवादयश्च यथा संभवम् इह प्रमाणम्. It says even though for dharma jignasa and brahma jignasa, dharma jignasa is for the first section, karma kanda, and brahma jignasa, both are pramanas. Pramana is same for both, but it says the jignasa, the vichara is not exactly the same. Why is it not exactly the same? Because kintu shrutyadhaya anubhava adescha yatha sambhavam yaha pramanam. Here in Brahma Jignasa, anubhava is involved. What is anubhava?
Aparoksha
Jnanam. Okay, remember this. Okay. In many of the books you will find Anubhava translated as experience. Validation. You can say validation if you want. Okay? That you are validating the knowledge. What you have heard, you have validated. That's called Anubhava. Another term used in the Shastra will be Brahma Sakshatkara. Sakshatkara of Brahma. Meaning direct, immediate, you are saying it is true. Your vision and of yourself and the Shruti vision of yourself is in harmony. Okay. Here in Brahma Jignasa, this is important because you will gain knowledge. So that Anubhava, the Pramana has to end up in knowledge. Anubhava avasana tvad vastu vishayatvacha Brahma Jnanasya. Why? It is dependent on knowledge. It is dependent on the vastu. Vastu is the reality here. What exactly has to be known. This knowledge is dependent on that. Whereas, he says, kartavyehi vishya na anubhava apekshaha asti iti shrutyadinam eva pramanyamsa. Whereas for karma meemamsa, dharma meemamsa, what anubhava are you talking about? Then Agnishtomena Yajeta. You must do the Agnishtoma. Okay. The priest tells me how to do it, I do it. Do you really have to know why this, why that, why that? Okay. You will go to heaven. Do you know the nature of heaven? Sunai thoda idhar udhar. But you don't have definitive knowledge. You will never have definitive knowledge. Why? Because it is Nitya Paroksha. Nitya Paroksha. It's always away from you, no? After doing the karma, you have to wait until you die and then go there. So, Nitya Paroksha eva. Whereas Atma is Aparoksha. This is Nitya Paroksha. Therefore, even if the Shruti describes something, you are describing the fourth dimension in three-dimensional language. So, it will never be the same. There was one person called Tom Moody, Dr. Tom Moody. He used to do a lot of experiments with contacting spirits who had departed from Earth in other dimensions. And of course, you have to believe what is written. But there was some sort of scientific verification because he is a doctor. And according to him, the most unhappy person in heaven was the Archbishop of Canterbury. He contacted that guy. Why? Heaven is not what it was described in my text in my book. Naturally, it's never going to be the same. Because, like for example, one description is flowing with milk and honey. Hey, I'm lactose intolerant. Half the characters will say that now. What will I do then? They have to say, don't worry, their body is different. There you won't be lactose intolerant. You'll enjoy your milk and honey. The idea is you are describing in terms of enjoyments here. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, there is only some general idea. There is no jnana. Because why? It is based on your karma. Purusha adhina atmalabha bhavascha kartavyasya. Purusha adhina atmalabha bhavascha. Why? It is something that you have to achieve through action. Your capacity to go there has to be created by the karma for you. It's something to be achieved. Okay? Something to be achieved. Alright. Therefore, he says, kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum shakyam, laukikam, vedikam cha karma.
This is where you quoted from.
Huh?
This is where you quoted from.
Yeah, this is the source. He says, kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha kartum shakyam. Whether the Vedic karma or a Laukika karma, you can do, you need not do, you can do it differently. Even Vedic karma, how we will see. Okay, like Yatha Ashvena Gachati, he is riding a horse and going, reaching by horse. Padvyam, going on foot. Anyatha or some other mode of transport. Waterway is available, going by boat. Nava gachati thi, or he is decided not to go. Barish aayega, nahi jayega, online aayega. Nava gachati. Choice is open now. Laukikam karma. Similarly, Vaidikam karma. Atiratre shodashinam granati. Na atiratre shodashinam granati. Two vakyas you will find. Okay. This Soma, Ras, etc. is gathered and kept in 16 cups known as grahas. Okay. 16 cups. So one statement is there, Shodashinam Granati. Take the 16 cup also. Use all the 16 cups for the Havan, for the Homa. Is another saying, no, don't use the 16th cup. Na Shodashinam Granati. Don't use the 16th. That means what? You are given a choice now. Because both vikalpas are there. You may use, you may not use. Minimum 15 you need.
So the Shastra says both.
Shastra gives you a vikalpa. Because, see, in the world, the options are my choice. Okay? In the Shastra, for a karma, that is said, options have to be given by the Veda only. No? It says offer rice. Any other option given? Yeah, wheat is also given. Yes, or you can offer barley. Can I offer ragi? Because millets are in the fashion. Option. You may eat millets as laukikam karma. But because I love millets, I want to offer millets. Then you are making up your own karma. The options have to be available within what the Veda says. Why? It's esoteric in nature. You don't know why, what, etc. See, that fact you don't know, however much you have studied. You take somebody who was an acharya in this, expert. Okay? Why not millets and why only rice? He will not know. He will not know. Even an expert like that will not know. Why these things are offered, he can tell you. Because based on the Shastra and the analysis of the Shastra, I'll say, why rice, why this thing, why these options? Why not millets? Shastra mein option nahi hai. But millets are healthier than rice, na? So you can eat it if you want to. Not offer it here. Why are you offering so much of ghee, cholesterol? Not for Agni Bhavan. Yeah. Why are you wasting that ghee? Why don't you give it to the poor? That's what you want to do, please do. Nobody is stopping you. Nobody is saying you have to do this karma. You chosen to do this karma, then follow it. You can make modifications other than what is told in the Shastra. This is important. Important. Atiratri is a ritual. Atiratri is a ritual. In that ritual, yeah. Shodashinam, the 16th one. Grihnati and Nagrihnati. Two options.
It is not night or
No. It is done later in the evening. Yeah, so Atiratri. So, this is where you will have options will have to be within the Shastra, not outside the Shastra. Because Anyatava Kartam Shakya. But yes, I am doing the ritual to go to heaven, let us say. Anyatava Shastra Kartam Shakyam, yes, the Shastra gives you other rituals also. Shastra gives you Laukika rituals also, acts of reaching out. Go die in battle. Direct. Veera Swarga guaranteed. If you are a good human being. Okay. That is also important. Not other karma. Basic goodness has to be there. Okay. And then die in battle. Okay. Fine. Veera Swarga guaranteed. Dharmika battle. Okay. Not aggressive against somebody else, etc. etc. No. Should be a dharmika. One first protecting your country, etc. Then. Not that I start a battle because I want to go there. Or I'll attack innocent so that they will counter attack and I will be there. No. It has to be Dharma Yuddha. All this is important. But that option exists. Okay. Anyatava Kartum Shakyam. Okay. Similarly, he is giving another Vedic example. Udite juhoti, anudite juhoti, udite juhoti. Do this worship when the sun has risen. Anudite juhoti. Do it before the sun has risen. Option no. That means if the sun rises at 6:15, you can do it at 6:37, etc. Or you can do it earlier. Earlier means what? If it's 6:15, 5:30, etc. You're not going to do it at 3 o'clock in the night or at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. No. There is a range which you have to, common sense range. Just after it has risen, just before it is rising. Udite, anudite. So where will you get all these details? Okay. Now there is one karma meemamsa available. Dharma meemamsa is available under the title Athato Dharma Jignasa. Then there is something also called iti kartavyata. For each ritual, because the mantras are spread all over, no? You gather all of them together and there is an iti kartavyata. Thus it has to be done. So there are manuscripts available for that. How each ritual has to be done. Okay? The Shabda Pramanam, Vedika Pramanam, analyzed, sorted out, and iti kartavyata mentioned. So when did all this happen? When did all this happen? All this was there in the Vedic times itself. By the time it came to Vyasa, it got codified and properly written down. Analysis done by Jaimini, Vyasa's own student. Okay, that's how it came. But the Iti Kartavyata was unwritten before.
Verbal.
And everyone may not have known everything. Because Vyasa gathered everything together and put it together. So that was his job. Okay.
So for Karma Kanda also the source is Ishwarana. It's all come from
Yes,
Ishvara
yes,
and
the
then
source is
it's
taken as Ishvara, yeah. Now in Karma Kanda there is one school which also says Vedaha Nitya does not need to have Ishvara as a source. There is one school of thought that says that also. Most schools accept Ishvara as the source. Yeah. So that is options available. Okay.
Gemini was also Karma Kanda, no?
Gemini wrote Karma Kanda, but he was Vyasa's student. So even though Gemini is associated with Karma Kanda, being Vyasa's student, he must have been a Vedanta only. How can you take him differently?
But so much deep work on Karma Kanda in spite of
so
him.
deep. That's why he would have got Vairagya from Karma Kanda. इतना सब नाटकबाजी करने का भूत हो गया.
So the seers were the rishis only of all these rituals
Yeah.
and
So the rishis put it all
what to whom to offer what
Yeah.
and
all that. It's an elaborate system of studies. In fact, it takes a little bit longer than studying Vedanta because it's a bigger text, no?
Also, each rishi had their own area of
Yeah,
expertise. so to
expertise
speak,
also
right?
was there. Yeah, that's why you had 4 Vedas.
Yeah. Each
Now
one
the
having-
thing was, Vedas were revealed as mantras to various rishis all over. So then they started interacting with. Naturally, rishis were not isolated people. They would interact, no? As scholars, this, that, they will interact with people, this, that, etc. So slowly they started recognizing there were so many different mantras. Okay. So by the time Vishwamitra, Shakti, Parashara, etc., most of the mantras were known. All the mantras were known. Then the big debate was whether Veda, Atharva Veda should be accepted as a mantra, as a Veda or not. That was the big debate. That was the big conflict that was resolved by Vyasa. That's why it's called Veda Vyasa. Not because he published all the Veda. No publisher is given the status of Guru or Gurus. Who published something. Yaar, come on. This conflict, whether Veda is Traividhi or Chaturvedhi, that was the conflict. Why? Because remember, Veda is supposed to be Apurusheya and deal with things that you can't deal with. No. But the Atharva Veda was the source of Tantra also, so animal sacrifice, etc. So thoda people hesitated that. More than animal sacrifice, it was talking about martial arts, warfare, etc.
medicines.
They said, why are you including this into a religious thing? But what was revealed, all the Astra Jnanam, etc., can't be figured out by people.
The mantras.
Yeah. Today, to send a nuclear missile, you need a missile which is what, 15 feet long, etc., etc. It's like a mini rocket only you need. There, the Rishi would take a blade of grass and that would be carrying the nuclear explosion. Why? A blade of grass is also made of atoms, no splitting, etc. Any atom can be split. But here you have to use uranium-235, etc. Only that can be used. There it was. A blade of grass, a pin, a hairpin was enough. Yeah, anything was enough. Sound was used as a weapon. Sound was a weapon. Mahatravan Jabali, they say he could, with one word, he could make the living dead or the dead living. One word. That's all that he needed. Sound was a weapon. Weapons. Even in modern warfare, sound is used as a weapon, but slightly differently. It is used to enthuse the soldiers into that battle frenzy. That's why battle cries, war cries. Why should a modern army require battle cries, war cries? Because ultimately, you can have all this long distance warfare, etc. When you are taking off specified targets, Operation Sindoor. That was 3 days, ho gaya ka. 3-4 days, everything was all finished. But supposing it's like, okay, you have to take over Pakistan. Then you need boots on the ground. It's not just going to be a missile officer. You need ultimately it'll come down to boots on the ground. And boots on the ground means ultimately, okay, all your firing, this, that, etc. fine. Ultimately what? There will be a clash, physical clash. So that you need all the josh, etc., etc. Therefore sound, battle cries will come into the picture. Today it is used only as that. Those who have studied martial arts, the kiai, the shout, or the roar of a lion is used what? To paralyze the prey. For a second you're not moving, and that second can make the difference between life and death. So sound is always a weapon. Now when you go to a temple, in the weapons of the Lord, you will find a bell also as a weapon, indicating sound. Not that the bell is a weapon, okay?
In Durga Saptashati it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That ghanta there is symbolic of sound as a weapon. Sound can be mantra rupam also as a weapon. Yeah. Okay. Mantras are weapons. Sound is a weapon. So because of all this, there Atharva Veda is the source of all this. Some of the rishis, Vasishta, Shakti, etc. felt, no, this can't be included. Whereas Mahatharvan, Jabali, etc. felt, no, it has to be. Vasishta's descendant, Parashara, Vyasa's father felt, no, I think it should be included. Then this big conflict, debate, okay, was resolved by Vyasa. So after Vyasa's time, everything got properly codified. Rig, Yajus, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda.
Well, Sama Veda is just about
The method of
this
chanting
musical tones.
has got 4 swaras, yes.
So then that is also
A little bit singing like
Yeah.
involved in that. That's the uniqueness of the Sama Veda. Subject wise is all the same as far as this is concerned. Atharva Veda is doing. But the problem came that by that time the rituals were fixed. So the ritualistic mantras etc. were from Rig, Yajus and Sama. So Atharva Veda mantras were not used, and already the ritual is complete by itself without including the Atharva Veda mantra. So the Atharva Veda priest was given the role of a Brahmana. Overall, see that everything is going smooth. So that's the role of the Atharva Veda priest. So even though the ritual is not chanted, because then he doesn't have to chant and offer. All right, you see that everyone is doing the job properly. That there is no mistake happen. Some error may creep in. You're human, Baba. You may be distracted by something. Something can happen. So oversee the work. So the Brahmana is always an Atharva Veda. This is if you are following the proper testing. Okay, sometimes you may not get all the Chaturveda priests. So someone else may play that role. That's a different thing. Okay. So this is where the whole thing came about. Alright, for the Veda. So that's why options were there, everything was there. And you don't have to have knowledge of every little thing. Okay? Alright. Then therefore vidhi pratishedahascha atha arthavantaha syu vikalpa utsarga apavadascha. Right. Therefore vidhi pratisheda is what is arthavantaha. So what is a vidhi? A vidhi is something that you are enjoined to follow. Agnishtomene yajeta, for example. Okay? It's a vidhi, something to be done. Okay? Sandhyavandanam kuryat, yajñam dharis chet, Sandhyavandanam kuryat. It's a vidhi. What is a pratisheda? A don't. Suram na pibeta. Don't drink alcohol. It's a pratisheda. Okay? That's why they'll tell you. Kal puja karne ka hai. Similarly, there is kalanjam na bhaksheta. Now, kalanjam is generally equated to meat, but it can mean contaminated food also. Kalanjam na bhaksheta. Okay? That's why even nowadays people drink, eat meat, normal. Therefore, the priest will tell you, kal puja karne ke, so aaj raat se ye nahi karne, non-veg nahi karne. They'll tell you. At least for the puja, don't do it. It's called pratisheda vakya. Okay, all right. Then vikalpa. Vikalpa is an option given. Udeti, anudeti. So it's an option given, a vikalpa. Utsarga is a general rule. Himsam na kuryat. Okay. Himsam na kuryat. Then apavada is an exception. Dharmo himsa sataivacha. For the sake of dharma, himsa is allowed. Exception. Okay. So this is how the Veda works. So all these 4 options you will find in the Veda. Okay. Alright. 4 types of vidhis will be there. Atra arthavantaha syu. Vikalpa, Upsarga, okay, all that we have seen. Now, when it comes to Brahma Jnana, what happens? Natu vastu evam naivam asti nasti itava vikalpate. You cannot have these vikalpas, or as far as a vastu, what? It is in this manner. No, it is in this manner. It is there, it is not there. I am having a pen in my hands. You can take it as a pen. I will take it as a hen. Don't ask me why I thought of hen. Okay. Only it rhymes with pen. You can't. This is a pen. That is your opinion. Can you say that? Because I am liberal, That's your opinion. No, that's not an opinion. It's a pen, it writes. But I am using it to scratch my back. That you can do. You are used to scratching backs. Therefore, you want to use a pen to scratch your back. That's karma, how you are going to use it. But what is it? Pen. Okay. Asti nasti va. Can you say, it may be there, it may not be. One whack with it, you will know whether it is there or not. Yeah. All these things are not there. Asti nasti. Even if you have to create a possibility of asti nasti, like the Schrodinger's cat, it's a famous example. Okay, there only 2 vikalpas are there. If you look at some Jain this thing, they will give you 7 vikalpas. Okay, what is the Schrodinger's cat? There is a cat. There is no asti nasti as far as cat is concerned. There is a cat. Okay. Now this cat is put to a box. This is an example, scientific experiment. At some time, there will be a poison gas injected into the box automatically. You don't know when. So at any given time, it may be alive, it may not be alive. It can be thought of as it is being alive or not being alive. Okay? So, the Schrodinger's cat experiment in a nutshell tells you that a thing can be thought of as existing or not existing. Alive or not alive. Not existing, not existing. Because cat is there. Alive or dead is only question. Number 1. Correct? It can be thought of. Is it knowledge?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet knowledge.
That, no, option.
Because option means what? Vikalpa is where? Because you don't know. It can be thought out. See, it's an important point in science. Because we are trying to have postulates as far as a thing which is not yet known. So the cat, you don't know it is alive or dead, therefore you can talk about it. How will you know that alive or dead? Open the box and see, na? Pramana. When the pramana eyes work, you will know is it alive or dead. Before pramana, you can postulate it may be alive, it may be dead. Asti nasti va, you can say. All that will function only before the pramana works, not after the pramana. Then you can have all the Jain vikalpas, no? Syad asti, syad nasti, syad both asti nasti, maybe both asti or not nasti. Or asti, meaning greater chance of it being there. Or
Yes.
nasti, greater chance of it being not there. Then of course naturally combination of both will come in. Finally what? Pramana tells you it's there or not. Pramana will tell you it's there. All these postulations are before you know whether the particle exists or not. Then you can think about it in all these ways. Okay. So Schrödinger's cat is 2 vikalpas. Here there are 7 vikalpas in Indian darshanas. Okay. Yeah. But the fact remains that finally what? When you know by the pramana, when you open the thing, no. See what is it? Nasti, it is gone. Or asti, hey, thank God, bach gaya. Not over. Therefore, asti nasti iti va na vikalpyate.
So the Jainas have 7 vikalpas in regards to Atma.
Yeah, because they don't know. When will vikalpas come? Only when you don't know.
Okay. So, I mean, they have so many point of views on for Atma.
Yeah.
It is there, it is not there,
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
there and not there.
Yeah. That's why all
There
this.
or not there.
That's why I'm giving the Schrödinger's cat example.
Oh, it's very
Make,
weird.
I'm trying to understand the points scientifically. That's why I'm saying greater chance, asti meaning greater chance of it being there. Nasti asti. Greater chance of it not being there.
So, but in Jainism, they provide these all as options.
Yeah.
And you pick.
Yeah,
There
it's
are
not you pick.
Then?
This is, in fact, in Jainism, this is presented as your worldview. I think maybe like this, which is fine. With varieties of mithya, theek hai, ho sakta hai.
So it's like framework of knowing, not
Yeah.
not to know the Atma.
Yeah, as a framework of. So everything existing thing is like this. So some people will include the Atma and also into it like that.
So, Swamiji, Jains, they don't accept Vedas, no, that's why we call them
They are Nastika
Nastika.
Darshanas.
So, these 7 vikalpas, they basically they
Seven
use
vikalpas are based on your
Vyavhara
logical possibilities.
or mostly in Vyavhara.
Always
Logical
for creation it is. It
Huh?
is for
World-
creation.
worldly stuff,
Yeah.
Worldly stuff.
Logical possibilities.
For creation.
Creation, yeah, for the world. For not only for the world, for any existing entity. Anything that you say it exists, meaning you have an idea, no? This exists or doesn't. Okay. Then all these vikalpas are possible. So when will the vikalpas go? When you know for definite what it is. That's why the pramana vichara comes into the picture. When there is a pramana, you know for definite. I have not yet been able to observe it. That means your pramana is not yet being used. You are speculating before the pramana is possibility. Which is fine, it's hypothetical in nature. They are not proved. So hypothesis, unproved hypothesis.
So, but they accept Atma
Yeah, Jains accept now.
and Ishvara also.
No, there is no Ishvara in Jainism.
There is no Ishvara in Jainism.
Jainism, Buddhism, etc. There is no Ishvara. But they have altars of worship. The Tirthankaras.
Saints.
Hmm.
They are all the
etc.
saints
Yeah.
then.
Huh?
They'll all be saints.
Yeah, like saints. Altars of worship.
All the religions have Atma.
Hmm?
Everyone, all Hindu branches,
Yeah,
they
they have some Atma, there is always there. Yeah.
There is some concept, whatever,
Yeah,
but the
whatever
Atma
it
is
is, but
always
some
there.
Atma is there. Yeah.
Even the
Some
Muslims
concept of the
call
Atma.
it ruh.
Ah,
Christians call it soul.
So,
Yeah, that's what. Some Atma is always there. Okay. Then he says, very nicely he puts it. Vikalpanastu Purusha Buddhi Apekshaha. When you are making a Vikalpa Asti Nasti Va, it is Purusha Buddhi Apekshaha. It is based on your concepts, your thinking. Okay? It is your, that means there is a choice in it. Okay. See, this is a, when you are functioning, especially in the modern world, this is one issue that will always come up. Your freedom of choice. Correct? So if freedom of choice is there, you can think as you want. Okay? So all your liberal thinking is based on, fundamentally on this. Your freedom of choice, you can think what you want. But in all of them, they are missing the idea of pramana. You can think whatever you want. Purusha Buddhi Apeksha. You can think about this in any manner you want. But what is knowledge? This is a pen. Creative thinking is possible. It's a, it can be for stirring your tea onwards. God, how do you do that? Yuck, but you can use it. Paperweight, bookmarker. Okay? Scratching your back.
Weapon.
Huh?
Weapon.
Weapon. That is using.
Coming from him.
That's how you are using it. But what is it? Pen. You are supposed to write. Vastu matram first. Once you know what the vastu is, if you want to be creative in how you use it, karma. If it is karma, kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum. Hey, don't do anything with it here. Poker mein rehne de abhi. I have not the time to use it as any of these things. Rehne do. Akartum shakya. All this is possible. But what is the vastu? Your creative use is fine. That is use. Purusha Tantram. What is it? That is Vastu Tantra. That doesn't change. That doesn't change. Okay. Therefore, Purusha Tantra Apeksha. Therefore, even in the problem of liberal thinking is this part is forgotten. Okay? I am to choose. I feel like a woman, therefore I am a woman. You're welcome to feel that. Okay. But then after that, don't say, I want to compete as a woman in the Olympics. You have an unfair advantage of your testosterone and muscles, etc. Yeah. A woman's body is only 32% muscle by weight. A man is 64% by weight. He's got an unfair advantage there physically. No, but I feel like a woman. You can feel whatever you want. Keep it at home. Are you getting the idea? Where that liberal thinking has its limits and that has to be recognized. In modern world, that is, they are trying to blur that. That's why there is a pushback. Republican, make America great again business, that pushback came because of over-liberal thinking. If that was not there, this pushback would not have been there. We wouldn't have the mess that we have today.
Because then that is applicable to anything.
Anything.
Then it is zero use of pramana.
Yeah.
Is what I feel.
Exactly, there is no pramana then. Where is the pramana? Gender is different from biology. Who said that? Gender is based on biology. Your feelings can be different from your gender. Or your biology. That is fine. If your feelings are different from fact, what do you need? Tell me. If your feelings are different from what is, do you need me to accept your feelings or you need therapy? What is it?
You need it.
I mean, objectively look at it. What is necessary?
But that's what a therapist does, no? I mean,
Yeah.
even if you leave gender out, anything, any misalignment of reality,
Yeah.
the therapist
Yeah.
points you to.
Exactly.
see
Tries to harmonize you with reality. Except when it comes to gender.
Correct.
Except what you feel and you behave like that. That's nonsense. Why are you making this big thing?
Swamiji gives a nice example about it.
Yeah.
Somebody comes and says, Swamiji, I felt that you were calling me, so I came all the way from Swamiji. That was your feeling. I didn't call
I
you.
didn't call you. प्यार में बहुत होता है ये. Yeah, but pyar, even among friends, I was sitting at the girl's house. She suddenly went inside and got a glass of water. I thought you were thirsty. I'll get you. अभी प्यार से दिया तो पी लेगा. So you are confirming a delusion. Yeah. Confirming a delusion. But since those are not pramana siddham, it is okay to have. Because karma, na? No, vastu tantram, what it is. Okay.
Swamiji, this particular sentence,
Yeah.
vikalpa nastu purusha buddhyapeksha.
Ah.
So vikalpa and all comes only after the vastu understanding.
After you understand or before you understand also, no?
Yeah.
See, like about Atma, there are so many vikalpas. Because nobody knows it.
No.
Yeah. See, vikalpas of action can come after some knowledge.
yeah.
Like this pen example. But if you don't know what is there, you just see something sticking out here. What is that? Then you can have a lot of vikalpas, no? It's a fountain pen, it's a ball pen, it is a gel pen. Okay?
Or it is just the
It is not a pen, it's a camera. It's not a pen, it's a torch. You have torches like this also. In fact, before all this strict checking came up, no? Those days, before the cell phone, all the strict checking came up. We are not allowed to carry a torch in our hand baggage. But I had a pen disguised as a torch. I mean, a torch disguised as a pen. I would put it along with one pen and one that torch. I would put it walking through those things. Yeah, pen. There's terrorist actions were not so much, so it was not that strict. I'm talking the 90s. Before terrorism became big deal, I used to always walk through. Because those days, cell phones are also not there to, so that their torch is available for you. So you can make all these vikalpas. Why? Because you don't know what it is. Once you know what it is, after that the vikalpas are only for creative use. But the vikalpas of what it is will come only because there is ignorance about it. Pramana has not been used. That's why he says, yeah? Yeah, Kiran.
And Acharya, and kinchit bhavam asti.
Huh? What is that?
Kinchit bhavam asti.
Something.
And kinchit bhavam asti.
Kinchit bhava, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some sort of existence it has, then you can have vikalpas on it. After you know what it is, then the vikalpas are not for what it is, how you want to use it. Karma. Then it is for karma. Yeah, that's for karma.
So Swamiji, can we say that other than Vedanta, every other school, it's Vikalpa only, right? Because if
Yes.
they don't know what it is,
Yeah.
Correct.
that means they are labeling it,
They're postulating.
Yeah.
they are postulating.
Postulating.
So anything like Muslims or
Yeah,
Christianity or
anything,
Jewish or anything,
Yeah.
or even Buddhism or
Or a Puranic thinking, all that is
so this
speculation.
is all Vikalpas, no?
But it will be anybody who doesn't use the pramana, right?
Yeah. Anybody who doesn't use a
Pramana, we are
pramana.
saying only Veda, no? We are not
Yeah.
accepting any other thing as a Pramana.
No, no.
Only the Veda.
See, what is Vedanta Pramana? Tattvamasi is Vedanta
Vedanta.
Pramana.
Yeah.
So in any culture or any language, if Tattvamasi is available, that is Pramana.
That is
Yeah,
Pramana.
that
It
is
needn't be in
Pramana.
Sanskrit for
Ah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in Sanskrit.
It doesn't, yeah. So like the Sikhs, they
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
Ekam Satya.
Yeah.
But otherwise, apart from that, I think nobody talks about Ekam
No,
Satya.
when see the stray statements is available. Moses went up the hill. He saw God in a flaming bush. And he asked, what type of a God are you? Now that question is very funny. What type of a God are you? Why? Because he came from a background of Egypt where they had different pantheon. And God answers, I am that I am. This is a statement in the
So the
Old
answer
Testament.
is yeah.
No, the answer is pure Vedanta.
Yeah.
Now whether Moses understood or not is a different
Interpretation
thing.
is-
yeah.
Granting him benefit of doubt. Because you are kind to Moses. Granting him benefit of doubt. Already understood. Then why did he write the 10 commandments that God gave him? Because he must have looked, how am I going to teach all this to these
Peasants.
people? The slaves have just got their freedom. They are like monkeys let out of their cages.
And they've all come from different places.
Different places.
And all congregated.
I have to make them into a society and a civilization before I can teach them this. God give me something for that.
Established before you actually spoke.
So God give me that. So the 10 commandments came. All this is giving Moses a benefit of doubt that he understood that statement. I would prefer to give a benefit of doubt, personally speaking. I can't take a strong stand that Moses didn't understand. Why? How do you say that? Why are you taking a stand? Because according to the Jewish rules, you are not supposed to work on a Sunday. And a woman gathered leaves on a Sunday for her home use. Moses got her stoned to death. It's all written. I am not quoting anything which is not there in the text. Which wise man will do that here? Stoning a woman to death just because she collected some leaves. If you wanted to ensure the laws, etc., I could have given her some other thing. No? You are not going to eat today. Fast. That's enough punishment. No? That also is severe. So I can take a strong stand and say, forget it, he didn't know. But giving him benefit of doubt, I'll say, fine, this much. Yeah. So when Christ said the Father and Son are the same, it's a straight statement, but it's available.
Yes.
Father and Son are the same. So
Father
it's
and Son are
yeah.
same.
Kingdom of God is within you.
Within
The
you.
kingdom of heaven is within you. Yes. So all these are straight, but they are stray statements. That's why the mystics in those religions had some insights into those. But as pramana, they didn't know. Therefore, methodology of teaching, etc., was not there. That's why that didn't become the main thing. And because it's a stray statement, it was not the main thing. Why if a straight statement does not make a pramana? What is the point necessary?
Consistency.
Abhyasa, repetition.
Six things.
That's Charlinga Vichara.
And the Charlinga Vichara.
Repetition, because you have to drive the point home. Drive the point home.
But why we go to other religion? Even we have Advaitins, very big.
Yeah,
very
Advaita is a big thing.
Advaitins.
What about
Advaitins.
Vishishta Advaitins? Oh my God. They are the most
Vishishta.
this thing.
Haveli appadina.
Yeah.
Palguni.
All that is Vishishta Advaita.
Yeah, Prashant, you have a question.
Swamiji, now that we are talking about Pramana and Dvaitins and Vishishta Advaitins and all, I just have a question. So, we have the Prasthanatraya where the Gita, the Upanishads are there, and then we say that Brahma Sutra is more around, reconciling between different statements of the Upanishads and all that. So, if our understanding is that Vyasacharya himself has reconciled the statements within the Upanishads.
He has taken the whole Upanishad, not certain statements. Not certain statements, the whole Upanishad.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Swamiji.
Not certain statements from the Upanishad,
The
whole
whole
statement,
Upanishad,
whole Upanishad. Yeah. Therefore, what is the
The
question?
whole Upanishad, if he has reconciled. Yeah, so then, but the Dvaitins and Vishishta Advaitins have also written a commentary on Brahma Sutra also
Yeah,
in support of their philosophy.
Correct.
How is that?
because how you choose to interpret.
Vikalpas.
Vikalpas. If you don't understand the pramana properly, you will have vikalpas.
That the Bhagavad Gita is the best example. The Yogi has written his way,
Thousands of
Lokmanya Tilak has written his way.
See, not only that, you look at it this way. Remember that old Murari story? And listen to this. That old Murari story, you remember that?
Yeah.
A pramana is supposed to reveal what you don't know.
No.
Is Dvaita known to you or unknown to you?
Known to me.
So the pramana need not come and tell you you are different from God. You already know it. Pramana need not come and tell you you are part of God. Why? You are part of the whole cosmos, you know that. You and God are one and the same. That is what you don't know. In fact, after elaborate teaching, it becomes difficult for people to understand. In spite of elaborate teaching. Therefore, that is what the pramana is supposed to do.
Understand is fine, assimilate is difficult.
So can you see? Yeah.
Yeah. My question is like, if Upanishads are the Pramana
Yeah.
and they have some problem with that, they come up with their own idea.
Yeah.
Now Brahma Sutra, which has come to analyze and
Yeah.
make it like, all contradictions are resolving. And on that also, if they write a commentary and interpret, then where is the finality?
Finality is in this one line. A pramana is supposed to reveal to you what you don't know. Pramana is supposed to reveal to you what you don't know. That's what will judge the finality, number one. Number two, look at Janmadhyasya Yataha, the Sutra. That's from where the whole creations come. Correct. Ishvara, Nimittam, Karanam, without his intelligence, knowledge, etc., he is Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, etc. Sitting in Timbuktu, he has created the whole world. Janmadhyasya Sutra, you can interpret it. Then the challenge is to logically see what is the right interpretation. Because when it's open to interpretation, you have to use logic to challenge it and come to the right thing.
Okay, that is the case with sutras as well.
And the finality is what a pramana is supposed to tell you. What you already know or what you don't know. That this is soft. My eyes need not tell me. Eyes are not a pramana for that. Touch is there. So that is the final thing in terms of interpretation.
Thank you
And
so much.
Swamiji, the question what he has asked, we can say that way also, that pramana is there. My eyes is, but if my eye has some faulty vision, then I can't see. So those people,
correct. Like if I am not using specs, what is that? Karti. What is Karti? Hey, it's Kartik. Now I can see it's Kartik, not Kartik. The K I couldn't see clearly. Can you see that is fault in my? Similarly, in how the thing is being unfolded, that's why Vedanta makes it very clear. Athato Brahma Jignasa, Atha Shabda, the first thing. Are you an adhikari? Only then it will work for you.
And also, Swamiji, when pramana works, then you know that it's the right.
Finally, the pramana is your vritti. It has to be validated.
Everybody feels that what they are believing is right, no?
You can believe it. See, believe.
Everybody will say the Dvaita people are so sure about what they are saying.
Let them be sure.
The Jainas are
Once
so
again,
sure about
we
what
have
they are
no
saying.
problems with them. Let them be sure with whatever they want. Final question is, at the end of the day, are you a fulfilled being?
Correct.
Or do you feel a sense of lack? Finally, that comes to that.
If there is lot of ninjatvam, then there is a problem.
Yeah.
If there is no ninjatvam.
But Swamiji, in Anubandha Chatushaya, they say adhikari, right? And this is something that the Dvaitins also accept, right? So when they say adhikari, what
No, for them, adhikari is different.
the definition?
It is not sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. Adhikari is different.
So in there, this when they say adhikari, in whatever
Bhakti,
they
etc. is
define-
necessary. I'll be like that.
And Samadhama may be same, but Viveka, Vairagya is also same. The Viveka part
Viveka
of it
definitely will be
different.
different.
It will be different. That clause will be
What
different.
did you say, Swamiji? Adhikari one? What do?
Bhakti, etc. will become the adhikari. Na?
Correct.
Bhakti, have you done enough puja part?
So when they write, for example, a text and they refer to adhikari, it will necessarily have bhakti as part of it.
Exactly. Like see, he was explaining Shivagama. Remember?
Yes.
So in Shivagama, okay, you start. Diksha is important. It's one system. So Diksha is important. So what you will do? You start with Gayatri Diksha. Karma Anupravesha. You study basic things. You will learn how to do a Samhita Dhanam. Okay? Then all this Vedic chanting, etc., which gives you, this is Samanya Diksha. Then that Vishesha, the second step you will get into. Then you will get into third step, Nirvana, when you have learned all the rituals, etc., etc., etc. So Nirvana. Okay? So all this is karma based. So their interpretation of Adhikaritvam is that you are done up to here. Can you see? This is Adhikari.
That is their level of qualification.
Qualifications is this. You have learned and done all these type of rituals. Then you are given an option. This is the system in that Shiva Agama. You can take sannyasa for Atma Jnana. But their Atma Jnana is also karma dependent. Jnana karma samuchaya it is. Along with knowledge, you have to do some karma. But different karma, meditations, etc. Or you can take Acharya Diksha. Acharya Diksha, you are a sadhaka. Acharya is like an assistant teacher. Or you can be the main Acharya. If you have to be the main Acharya, you have to get married. That's one of the adhikaritams. Main Acharya you have to get married.
Because then only all those rituals.
Because all the rituals can be done only by a married person. Certain rituals which you are not married, you can't do.
In fact, that is the reason I was wondering why Abhiramanji didn't do anything during the Dakshinamurti.
Because he's not married.
Because when he mentioned saying I'm not married, then I realized saying, oh, that's why he didn't do it. And the other guys.
He knows all of them, but he's not
yeah,
married.
yeah. So he's the teacher, but since he's not married, he's not doing.
Yeah.
His students who are married are doing.
Are doing it. His own students are married can do, but he was taught them that cannot.
Cannot do. I was wondering why he didn't do it at Rishikesh.
Yes. He was
But
guiding
when he came
everyone.
home and he mentioned that, I said, oh, that's the reason why
He is guiding everyone. So can you see now how the adhikaritam will differ? Then the interpretation also will differ.
In fact, he also mentioned, because early morning they got up and did the pujas. No? So the puja he was doing, whatever puja I can ask him, and whatever Kumar was doing, were different.
Yeah.
Because Kumar is married, whereas he is
Exactly.
unmarried. So he said, my puja I'll get over soon, but Kumar will take little
Little
time.
more time, exactly.
So adhikaritam depends on where I am coming from, sorry.
Exactly.
What do I value?
Correct. You want me to get up? Wait. My stage of life, what I value.
All that will come into the
Please be careful. Don't hurt yourself. Yeah.
All that will come into the picture.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Okay. Then he says, Kim Tarhi Vastu Tantram Eva Tad. Whereas this knowledge is what? Vastu Tantram Eva. Jnanam Vastu Tantram Eva. Nahi Stanu Ekasmin Stanu Va Purusho Va Iti Tattva Jnanam Bhavati. There is a pillar. I can't say Stanur Va Purusho Va. It may be a pillar, it may be a person. That is not Tattva Jnanam. Tattva Jnanam here is about the pillar. That's not knowing the reality of the pillar. Tatra Purusho Anyo Va Iti Mithya Jnanam. If we are saying Purusha, etc., that is Mithya Jnanam. Stanu Eva Iti Tattva Jnanam. It's a pillar, nothing else. Tattva Jnanam. Why? Vastu Tantratva. It is true to the Vastu, to the object that is there in front of you. Evam Bhuta Vastu Vishayanam Pramanyam Vastu Tantram. Therefore, for any existing object, Pramanyam is tested where? Is it Vastu Tantram or not Vastu Tantram? Vastu Tantram Pramanyam.
But this is what the Dvaitins must be using to establish that what they are saying is absolutely right.
Vastu Tantram. But then the problem is, Dvaita will be based on belief. Because nobody has seen God.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or it's something that you can only operate it in Vyavahara. not in-
Yeah, exactly. Therefore, Vastu Tantram it cannot be. Whereas, Jnanam Vastu Tantram. No vikalpa is possible.
But Swamiji, when you talk about Dvaita, even as basic Vedanta students, you can find so many gaps in the logic, right? So how come when such a
See, the gap is because you are not using technical arguments.
That's true.
Yeah. If you use technical arguments, it is true. Any good student of Vedanta will be able to answer. Yeah. That is much is true. But there are nice, good logics also presented.
Sir, regarding these acharyas being married, Swami Chinmayananda's missions acharyas are not married.
One second.
No, Acharya.
Acharya in a different system.
Yeah.
Shivagama. Yeah. Here all of us are acharyas, no?
Yeah.
Whether you are a sannyasi or not, you are also an acharya. Yeah. You may be a sannyasi acharya, you may be a non-sannyasi acharya. Yeah.
Giving examples.
She's not married.
Both are acharyas. Yeah.
She is married and an Acharya, Swamiji is an Acharya, not married.
So that is different. Systems are different. Yeah. Systems are different.
So Swamiji, this Vastu Tantra, na, we are talking in terms of Atma, the Vastu Tantra. So when you give the example of a pen and the pillar, so that is true to the object, right?
Yeah.
So then there also we are applying
Of
Vastu
course,
Tantra.
it's true to the object, no? In any place, if it is jnanam, it has to be true to the object.
Okay.
Jnanam is not open to my choice.
Okay, so the point that we are making
Yes.
is the Jnanam is not
Yeah,
open
yeah.
to my choice. Okay.
I can't take this and say, look at this nice rabbit. Can you see the nice rabbit in 2 years? Can't say that. अरे महाराज जी ने बोला ये rabbit ही है. Don't sit in my class. You can go anywhere else. It doesn't work like that.
It is just that it's a different pramana. Because here, for knowing the vastu, Shruti is the pramana.
Yes.
So then there is no vikalpa, because it's not about seeing or anything, because the other.
No.
Okay.
Whether it is Shruti Pramana or perception, Jnanam Vastu Tantra, irrespective of the Pramana.
Irrespective of the
Pramana.
Yeah. See, this is the Vastu Pramana Tantra. Jnanam Vastu Tantra.
There, vastu is not necessarily object.
Object, yeah.
It's not-
Whereas Karma Purusha Tantra,
Yeah.
Vikalpa Purusha Tantra.
This we had done this long time ago.
So emphasizing now.
We have
Greater
done it in
clarity is coming
Kamini's
to the same
house.
thing. Yeah. Greater clarity. There is more depth. So there I am preparing you for this. So then, is Shruti really a pramanam for this? That can also be questioned. Okay, but that we will see next class. Okay, a good place to stop.
Somebody has question.
Oh, that's it. Huh?
Somebody was asked.
Anyone has a question?
Prashant or Karthik, somebody.
If anyone has a question, please shoot. Okay. No.
Prashant had a question, sir.
Prashant has a question?
No,
Okay, you clarify.
no, Swamiji, I will ask next week, Swamiji.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, good place to stop. Oh, that's it.
Thank you, sir.